Hey guys, welcome to my channel. And today I'm gonna show you guys how I managed to grip this young lady's hair with some medium waist length knotless braids. And I tucked her hair, and her hair was like, it was kind of short. It was long like at the top, but it was pretty short like in the back and on the sides. And her hair was super blunt cut, and it was super straight. And not that these are like bad things, but these are things that make it hard to braid. So I really had a difficult time like tucking her hair, but I really, really did my best. And it was kind of hard to part her hair just because I don't know, I can't really explain, but I really managed to really get her hair in and out, and it looked beautiful. So please stay tuned. So here I'm just showing y'all how I do my C parts. And as you can see, sometimes when you're doing C parts, one braid might kind of come up more than the other one, and that's just because people's hairlines are different. As you can see, as that braid above, her hairline kind of comes out some. So I had to part that braid wider. So this is me doing the braid now. Remember my technique. Keep your hands close to the client's head. Keep everything in line. Make sure your hands are super, like you sticking it, because her hair is kind of thick. So it's going to, see, I'm kind of pulling that hair so it's in place. Her hair is thick, so I'm going to really need to, and it's blunt cut, so I'm going to really need to tuck it. And it's a little short. And it's super straight. So there's a lot of factors that I have to, keep in consideration. You see how straight her hair is? It's going to be so hard to tuck it. It's going to pop right out. But you see the how I'm doing it? Holding the hair in place with my middle finger. Adding enough hair so I can use that hair to tuck. Remember, you have to add enough hair. I struggled a bit with this braid, but I took my time. I made sure that I tucked that hair in and I gripped it. Now, sometimes you're not going to completely tuck from the root, just because sometimes people's hair do not allow you to do that. Like her hair, because I was so focused on tucking the ends, it was kind of hard for me to tuck it initially. See? Because the hair is super blunt and it's super straight and it's short in some sides. But this is how you tuck. You kind of just twist that hair. I don't know if y'all can see. See, I'm super close, and I'm just making sure I'm kind of twisting that hair into the braiding hair as I'm braiding down, just to keep it tucked in there. You see how I'm doing that? Rolling it to the back. You guys gotta, yeah. So now that I passed her hair, I could just braid normally. But that's how I braid to tuck people's hair in. It's just something that I know to do. It's just how I braid. That's just my technique. So you really just have to find your technique and just make sure that you're gripping your client's hair properly. So I'm going to let you guys watch the rest of the video. And if I need to talk, I'm going to talk. Okay, so we're getting to a part where I feel like I need to talk. So as you guys can see, I'm tucking her hair. I don't know if y'all saw, her hair has been sticking out of the braid as I've been braiding down in this video. And ooh, I barely managed to tuck it in that braid, boy. But I am just so anal about hair tucking. And look at the C parts. You see how everything's falling in line with everything? That's why I start on the edges and work my way back, because that's how I do my C parts and that's how I can get them aligned. So that's why I teach you guys how to do what I do. So yes, if just in case you were wondering how to do C parts, start on the edges and just work your way, up from behind. So this is still me doing the front here. I like my braids to be full all the way down, like I said. So what I do is I set my foundation for my knotless braid by adding enough hair to start with. I don't ever want to force it and be adding hair in the middle of the braid. I start the braid off and set it up so it's a nice sturdy braid with the right amount of hair. Now, the only time I need to add in is like most of the time to the tips. But as far as the first 3/4 of the braid is C, that's where I'm adding in, because everything above that, the braid above that, has already been set up. When I started my knotless braid, I started with enough hair and I kept adding enough hair so the braid can be sturdy and full. But yeah, the tips might get a little thin, so you need to add to the tips. But you really should never be adding to the middle of the braid, because you should have set that braid up at the beginning. So you don't have to add in the middle. You just add in on the tips if it's too skinny. See how my braid is full all the way through? It's not skinny on the bottom. It's not skimpy. And look how I'm braiding. Look how my hands are close. I don't braid hard. I braid precisely. That's gonna kill that what is it called? Ugh, you getting the pains in your hand, arthritis. Because I don't braid hard. I just braid securely. So you need to learn how to braid securely. Even when I'm braiding down, my braids are nice and secure, but I don't braid hard. Okay, so that's super important in the longevity of your braiding career. You don't want to be a hard braider. You want to be a precise braider, a technical braider. It's going to save your hands, I promise you. I promise you that. So when you get to the tips of your braids, you got to make sure you're braiding tight. You absolutely have to make sure you're braiding tight, because if you decide to cut that stray hair off on the bottom, those scissors are going to loosen up that braid and it's going to unravel. But if you braid super tight and tiny on the tips, if I decide to cut that braid right now, it's not going to unravel because it's tight. So you got to be mindful of what you're doing when you're braiding. Just don't be doing anything. That's why your braids are not the best, because it's levels and it's steps to making your braids perfect. So I'm done. I feel like I'm just mumbling at this point. So here you guys go. You could just take a look at some of the braids being done in the back and how she's holding her hands. You see how her middle finger, you see how her hands are just in place? Everything is in place. She's holding that braid in place so it can look good. She's taking her time. She doesn't rush to start braiding down. She makes sure she can, set the braid up so she can start braiding down. Okay, so now she's ready to braid down. And you see how the hair is kind of sticking out right there? Because it's so straight and it's blunt. So she's going to try her best to tuck that in. But I'm going to let y'all hear some music and read some subtitles. So now that we have attached all the braids, we have tucked her hair. Now we're going to make sure as we're braiding down, we add in our pieces because guys, remember, your braid needs to be full from the top to the bottom. You don't want skinny ends. So as you're braiding down, if you feel like the braiding hair that you have is not full at the ends, you absolutely need to braid down so your client's braids are not skimpy. That's just law. So you guys need to learn how to add in. Y'all see me adding. You see where I add in. I add in towards the end. Or whatever length that your braid is, you add towards the end of that length. So if it's mid-back, add towards the end of the braid so the tips are thick. Make sure you braid tight on the tips so when you do cut off that excess hair, it doesn't shrivel up and unravel. So yes, make sure you do that. So we are really at the finish here. I got 2 braids left to braid down. As you can see. So right now I'm just giving her crinkly braids. I went ahead and braided them, and then I dipped them. And like I tell y'all, you got to dip high because you want that braid to be super, you want it to flow like weave. See, I'm going back and I'm re-dipping them at the tips. I mean, at the root. And I tucked her hair so good that I could dip her whole damn scalp in that water. That's how perfect I tucked her hair in these, how perfect we tucked her hair. So that's what you want to do so you can give people those types of braids. Like if you're not tucking hair, you can't dip your braids. Like, so you got to make sure you get on your shit for real. Look how amazing and consistent and beautiful and neat her braids look. Like, we did not come to play. Super pretty. So now I'm going to just cut the excess hair on the end. Yes, cutting the excess hair, putting our mousse, order our mousse online. Yes, now we're going to order our, we're going to put our oil sheen too. Order our oil sheen online. Don't forget, we're also going to lay her edges with my edge control. Order it online. Hello. We got everything you need, so just order it online. Okay. You look gorgeous.
I love them.
Yes, turn around, flip them all to the back. Yes. Ooh. Oh, again. Open them up again, honey.
Open them up.
Open them up again. Yes, so pretty.
Thank you,
Looks
Blessing.
So good, girl. Yeah. Shake your head for me.